The Goonies wasn't just a treasure hunt adventure that defined childhood for an entire generation. It was a film where the kids' genuine reactions to seeing the pirate ship were captured because they were banned from the set, where Chunk's legendary dance was performed while he had chickenpox, and where a deleted octopus scene still gets mentioned in the final cut, even though audiences never saw it. What started as a playful nod to the audience through single throwaway line became Steven Spielberg's vision of the perfect childhood adventure. When Chunk calls the police to report the Fratelli crime family, he references little creatures that multiply when you pour water on them. But behind those booby traps and treasure maps were real injuries that lasted entire shoots, props made with actual human blood, a cast that formed bonds so strong they are still family decades later, and genuine reactions. These are 20 weird facts about the Goonies, and buried in the treasure is a story about how Hollywood's most beloved adventure was built on genuine friendship, real danger, and one director's refusal to let childhood magic be faked. Number 1. When Chunk calls the police to report the Fratellis, the officer dismisses him, referencing one of Chunk's past stories about little creatures that multiply when you pour water on them. That's a playful nod to Gremlins. Spielberg executive produced both films, Chris Columbus wrote both scripts, and Corey Feldman appeared in both casts. It wasn't meant to establish a shared universe, but it was a clever Easter egg that linked two of the decade's most iconic adventures, a wink to audiences who knew both worlds well. Number 2. Most iconic movie moments are carefully choreographed and rehearsed for weeks. But Chunk's legendary truffle shuffle was born from embarrassment and illness. Jeff Cohen showed up to set that day fighting chickenpox. He desperately tried to hide because he was terrified of being fired. When Richard Donner asked him to perform the dance for a scene, Cohen begged to do it later when he felt better. Donner's response was immediate: "No, do it now." So Cohen, mortified and sick, lifted his shirt and performed the dance that would define his career. Number 3. Some movie props become priceless, but Sean Astin's relationship with the treasure map that was stained with coffee and blood from the crew reveals how casually magic can be lost. After filming Wrapped, Astin took home the handcrafted map that had driven the entire story just because it was there. For a while, it sat crumpled in his teenage bedroom like any other piece of paper. When his mother was cleaning his room, she found what looked like garbage and threw it away without a second thought. Today, that prop would be worth tens of thousands to collectors. When Spielberg heard the story, he just shook his head and said, "Well, it was his to lose." Number 4. The film's most magical moment was created through a deception so complete that even the young actors were kept in the dark. The massive pirate ship wasn't just an impressive set piece, it was a full-scale vessel built inside a soundstage, complete with working cannons, and treasure that sparkled under carefully placed lights. But Richard Donner made an extraordinary decision. He banned the entire cast from seeing it during construction. In a movie about the magic of discovery, the most magical moment happened because the director understood that wonder can't be faked. Number 5. Behind Sloth's terrifying appearance was a technical nightmare that pushed both actor and effects team to their limits. John Matizak's wandering eye wasn't achieved through digital effects. It was a custom-built robotic eye, with wires and servos hidden inside the prosthetic makeup. The eye would spasm at random moments, roll in the wrong direction, or stop working entirely mid-scene. John, a former NFL player accustomed to physical punishment, had to sit for hours in makeup to perform emotional scenes, while a malfunctioning robot eye betrayed him constantly. He never complained once. When crew members apologized for the technical failures, John would just shrug and say, "Sloth's not supposed to look perfect." Number 6. Method acting usually involves deep psychological preparation, but Corey Feldman took a different approach that drove everyone around him slightly insane. He didn't just play Mouth during filming, he became Mouth. Between takes, he wore the same clothes his character wore. During lunch breaks, he spoke in Mouth's rapid-fire slang. Even in his hotel room, he practiced the character's mannerisms and speech patterns. The crew started calling him Mouth even when the cameras weren't rolling because he simply wouldn't break character. Feldman claimed this total immersion helped him stay sharp and authentic, but that commitment to living the role gave Mouth an energy and authenticity. Number 7. The Goonies contains one of cinema's strangest continuity errors, and it happened because Steven Spielberg changed his mind at the last possible moment. The original cut included a fully filmed scene where a giant animatronic octopus attacks Mouth and Steph after they escape the pirate ship. The scene was elaborate, expensive, and completely finished. But when Spielberg watched the final cut, he hated it. Too silly, too much. He ordered it removed entirely. However, they forgot to edit out Data's line at the end, where he tells reporters the octopus was very scary. For decades, audiences have been confused by that reference to a creature they never saw. creating one of the most famous plot holes in adventure cinema. Number 8. First days on movie sets are usually gentle introductions to help actors settle in. But Josh Brolin's debut was a baptism by fire that taught him everything he needed to know about Hollywood. The spring-loaded device designed to launch him backward in the attic was supposed to be perfectly safe. Instead, it malfunctioned spectacularly, striking Brolin square in the shin with enough force to leave a bruise that lasted the entire 6-month shoot. His immediate reaction wasn't anger or demands for better safety protocols. He just looked at the crew and said, "Still better than algebra." That moment of grace under pressure taught him the most important lesson about working in movies. Expect the unexpected, roll with the chaos, and never let them see you sweat. Number 9. The gadgets that made Data such a memorable character weren't just clever props. The boxing glove belt actually extended and retracted. The slick shoes really did spray oil. But there was one problem. Nothing worked reliably. The crew developed a running joke that Data's inventions only worked when no one was watching. Ke Huy Quan spent hours with the effects team, fascinated by the engineering, learning how each device was supposed to function even when they refused to cooperate. Number 10. Some actors slip in and out of character between takes, but Anne Ramsey's commitment to Mama Fratelli was so complete it genuinely terrified the children she was supposed to be working with. She didn't just play the villain during filming, she stayed in character during lunch breaks, between setups, even during casual conversations. Her menacing presence was so convincing that several young actors actively avoided her when cameras weren't rolling. Jeff Cohen later described her as smelling like fear and tuna, which wasn't entirely a joke. Ramsey kept canned tuna in her trailer for quick meals. Number 11. After filming finished, Richard Donner thought he was heading to Hawaii for a well-deserved vacation. When he arrived at his house, he discovered that Steven Spielberg had secretly flown the entire cast there as a surprise. For a full weekend, Donner's peaceful retreat became a chaotic reunion with a dozen energetic kids who had just spent months bonding on set. Donner later called it the best and worst surprise of my life. He loved seeing the kids again, but his quiet vacation became an extended sleepover with the most famous child actors in America. Number 12. Sometimes casting decisions create unexpected connections that span multiple blockbusters. Ke Huy Quan brought more than just energy to Data. He brought legitimate martial arts skills honed during his work on Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Quan performed many of his own stunts, and his combination of technical skill and natural charisma made him a fan favorite in 2 major adventure films released the same year. Number 13. The water slide was much shorter than what we saw in the film, but thanks to camera angles and editing, it helped make it look longer and more dramatic than the physical slide was. Number 14. 2 Goonies sequels were pitched, one in the 90s, another in the 2000s. Scripts were written, even a Broadway musical discussed. None happened because, as Donner said, you don't sequel magic. Number 15. The cast stayed close for decades, referring to each other as family. When Jeff Cohen transitioned from acting to law, becoming a founding partner of an entertainment firm, his first major client was Sean Astin during a crucial film deal. Cohen later said it was the easiest decision he'd ever made. Once a Goonie, always a Goonie. Because that loyalty, that genuine affection, that willingness to support each other's dreams are the best treasures, are the friendships we make along the way. Number 16. The film's climactic ending almost looked completely different. Early script drafts contained no pirate ship at all. One-Eyed Willie's treasure was supposed to be buried directly under the Goon docks, with the climax involving a cave collapse and a desperate race against time. But Spielberg wanted something more cinematic, more visually spectacular. He pushed for the ship, the underground lagoon, the sense of discovering a lost world. That decision transformed a simple treasure hunt into an epic adventure that captured our imaginations. Number 17. The film became a cult hit in Japan with organized meetups, cosplay events, and pilgrimages to Astoria, Oregon. A Japanese fan club active since the late 80s says they love it because it's about loyalty, not just treasure. Several cast members have visited Japan and been greeted by hundreds of fans in full costume, proving that the spirit of adventure transcends cultural boundaries. Number 18. Jeff Cohen didn't just leave acting. He reinvented himself as a founding partner of an entertainment law firm, using his Hollywood experience. He co-founded a successful entertainment law firm to help other creatives navigate complex contracts and business deals. His journey from child star to power lawyer has been called one of the best post-Hollywood success stories ever, proving that sometimes the greatest adventure is the one that takes you completely away from where you started. Number 19. To keep performances natural, Donner encouraged kids to talk over each other during scenes. It made editing chaotic, but gave the film its realistic energy. Editors said it took double the time to sort overlapping lines, but that chatter became the film's defining trait. Number 20. Composer Dave Grusin hid musical Easter eggs throughout the soundtrack, melodies referencing pirate shanties and classic themes like Peter Pan and Indiana Jones. Music critics believe there's a musical code hidden in the notes, making the score itself a treasure map. The Goonies gave us more than treasure maps and booby traps. It showed us what happens when real childhood wonder meets Hollywood magic. From Spielberg's insistence on genuine reactions to a cast that became actual family, every weird fact reveals people who understood that the best adventures can't be faked. The real treasure wasn't One-Eyed Willie's gold, it was the proof that sometimes the most lasting magic comes from letting kids be kids, even when the cameras are rolling. But the Goonies' incredible behind-the-scenes magic is just one example of how the greatest 80s adventures were built on real friendship and genuine danger. If you want to check out other movies, make sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.